beloved Sojourners. Welcome to Weekly Waypoint, where we help you tune into and align your intentions with the energies and the opportunities of the week ahead. You know, in the ancient sacred stories, no matter what origin or background we read from, we catch a vision of life together in created order. And in the midst of the beauty of teeming life, we see that you and I are at our essence, at our true nature, spiritual beings, having a momentary human experience. And we look out and see the interconnected oneness of created order, the harmony just by beautiful design, and we as humans living together in unconditional love and compassion. And in the midst of the created order, you and I have a role and a responsibility that we find deep, passionate joy and fulfillment in carrying out. Which brings me to this week's oracle message. Our message from Spirit is a kind of ominous card where we feel the energy hanging in the balance. The card is called Guardians of the Land, reminding us that we indeed are those original caretakers, that we are life-shaping sojourners simply by our created nature. Fast forward to today, and we see even planet Earth reflecting that in some fundamental way we've lost our sense of direction, our sense of self, and our role and responsibility in the created order. In some ways, we are spiritually asleep as human beings. And Earth is even reflecting our human sickness and the resulting life-diminishing impact as we consume Earth's resources without a mindfulness of being the guardians of the land that we were called out to be from the very beginning. Which then brings me to a second oracle message to bring clarity to this reminder that we are indeed guardians of the land. And the invitation from Spirit is a card called Frog Spirit, an enchanting card of hopefulness, teeming with the possibility of life coming together. And we see there a spiritual, angelic type of being in the midst of the sacred forest, overlooking the beautiful simplicity of a frog. That reminds me of a childhood fairy tale that I remember. I certainly don't remember all the stories, but I do remember the story, the fairy tale of the Frog Prince. Quite simply, we see at the opening a princess who was a little bit disgusted as all the potential suitors had come and go, and simply looking at the external, not really seeing who she really is in her essence nature. And she's out one day playing ball in the royal gardens, and at one point the ball falls into the royal well. And she's there strategizing how to retrieve the ball when she encounters, as you might remember, a talking frog. The frog negotiates with the princess, well, certainly I'll help you retrieve the ball if you'll spend the rest of the day with me in conversation. Sure enough, she agrees. The frog retrieves the ball, but the princess breaks the promise. She doesn't see the worth, and she goes right back to what she was up to, right back to her busyness. Fast forward the story, the frog catches up with her, and she concedes. They spend some time, and the more and more they got into conversation, they began to see the heart and soul of one another. Towards the beginning of this beautiful day, the princess leans down, as you might remember, to kiss the frog. And voila, the frog turns into the prince, breaking the spell that was once cast upon the prince. And he is renewed, he is transformed, and so is their life together, life beyond the surface as they come to value the essence nature of who they are. My friends, this week's Spirit invites us on a journey of renewal, a journey to renew our sacred inner essence of who we are, and in the process, to reclaim our role and responsibility as those beloved guardians of the land, the caretakers, that we might again be awakening life shapers in the world. To really bring that home and allow us to live into this week's invitation, let's pick up with this week's reflection questions. The first reflection question, you might want to grab a journal, a notebook, something to write down your reflections, not just in the moment today, but as you go throughout the week and see those synchronicities unfolding, as you see the invitation coming alive in your everyday life. So the first reflection question for this week is, in what ways can I embrace the invitation to be an awakening life shaper in the world? In what ways can I embrace this invitation to be an awakening life shaper in the world? A second reflection question, what can I do to live as a guardian of the land? What specifically can I do today, this week, to live as a guardian of the land? And perhaps more importantly, as we think about our habits that we've gotten into and ways that contribute to the depletion and the diminishment of created order, we might finish with this reflection question: what am I willing to no longer do in response to the invitation? What am I willing to no longer do? Let's look at some very tangible, actionable responses, ways that we might really live into and reclaim our role as guardian of the land, as caretakers, as awakening life shapers. We are here, I think, at least being encouraged to learn to be an environmentally conscious consumer. We live in a consumer-driven culture where we're always desiring the next best thing, always desiring more. Can we learn to live a little bit more lightly? And in the decisions we make in our purchases, might we do it in a more environmentally conscious way? And if so, let's get specific here. What are some specific ways that you can change some habits for the better? Maybe it's through reducing your consumption. Maybe purchasing things that can be reused again and again rather than constantly using disposables that merely get sent out into the landfill. And one of my favorites is recycling. Perhaps a challenge for your household is simply, on a weekly basis, can your recycling container be filled more than the trash container? Remembering that the trash container items head out to the landfill to accumulate there. Reduce, reuse, recycle. We've heard that again and again, but certainly practices to reevaluate this week with Spirit's invitation. Be energy smart at home and in the workplace. It can quite simply be you're leaving a room, the light is still on, go back for that moment, turn the light off, and save the energy. Perhaps you can drive less, carpool more, take some public transportation, if that makes sense in your context. Overall, my friends, with the invitation of Spirit, let's reclaim our roles as guardians of the land and become champions yet again for planet Earth's well-being. Those are ways we can change particular habits. But I think this week, Spirit is also inviting us as Earth's guardians to get out there. Get out more in nature and appreciate its beauty. And that really leads me to this week's affirmation, those simple, memorable phrases that you can carry with you to live into and apply this week's invitation from Spirit. The first affirmation that you might want to consider adopting, perhaps adapting, or maybe just inspire your own created affirmation to carry with you. And as you pause periodically through the day for those deep, slower inhales and exhales, on that inhale, silently repeat the first half of the affirmation, I am. And on that slow exhale, silently repeat the second half, a life shaper. I am a life shaper. A second affirmation possibility for the week. I am learning to be a guardian of the land. I am learning to be a guardian of the land. And a third possibility for you to work with this week. I am grateful for life on earth. I am grateful for life on earth. John Muir once said, keep close to nature's heart. Break clear away once in a while, climb a mountain, or spend a week in the woods. Wash your spirit clean. What a beautiful way, my friends, to express this week's invitation from Spirit to reclaim our role. With that in mind, may you awaken your sacred inner essence and reclaim your role as a life shaper and guardian of the land. My friends, I hope this is helpful. Thanks for tuning in to this week's Waypoint. We do invite you to join the ongoing conversations over on Facebook and Instagram at Spiritual Sojourners. I just merely shared a few ideas for living into this week's invitation from Spirit. You have some beautiful ideas yourself. We hope you'll share those in the comments below so that you can inspire us all in ways that we can be those guardians of the land, of being life-shaping sojourners. Also, we invite you, if you find this helpful, to make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you are on YouTube, make sure you hit that notification bell so you can stay in touch with the most recent releases in our community. Otherwise, we look forward to seeing you right here next Monday for another Weekly Waypoint. Life-shaping blessings, beloved sojourners. Namaste.